Hey guys, what are we doing? Cinco de Mayo!
¿Hoy?
Come on,
Hoy tengo que pagar mis impuestos.
¿Hoy? Voy a mi clase de español. Trabajar, ¿qué más? Sí, perdón, no. Sí, dígame.
What's up, guys?
Good morning! Today is Cinco de Mayo. In this video, I would like to show you how this day is celebrated. Are you ready to see how we celebrate Cinco de Mayo? Well, stick around. Cuéntame, ¿qué se celebra el 5 de mayo?
La batalla de Puebla.
¿Sabes qué se celebra?
Ajá, la batalla de Puebla.
Hoy no se trabaja.
Ok, ¿y tú haces algo así como fiestas o algo?
No mucho.
¿Qué vas a hacer el 5 de mayo? Que es mañana.
Nada, estar en mi casa.
¿Y ustedes qué? ¿Entonces no van a celebrar?
No.
Ya estamos pedos, mira.
¿Y la gente hace algo en México?
Ay, no sé.
5 de Mayo is a holiday. There's no doubt about that. But it seems that in the US, it's a big celebration. There's music, there's parties, people celebrating at the bars, it's crowded everywhere, but not here. Just as if it was Mexican Independence Day. It's the biggest Mexican holiday over there. But why is it that Mexico doesn't celebrate the biggest holiday that people in the US celebrate? What's wrong with Mexico? To be able to understand why a big celebration is happening in the US and not in Mexico, we would need to go back in time in the 19th century. At that time, Mexico was really struggling. The New Spain, or what is now Mexico, defeated the Spaniards in 1821, but they also lost the Mexican-American War in 1848, when Mexico lost more than half of its territory, and that territory formed part of the US. Keep in mind that, because this is going to be one of the keys for this story. At that time, Mexico had the first and only indigenous president who has been a protagonist on the history of Mexico. This president, seeing the chaos and mess that all the wars had left, decided to suspend the payments, the debt that Mexico had with the UK, Spain, and France. Just for a short period of time. I think it was 2 years. Remind me if it was more time. The UK and Spain were fine with it. They decided to wait for a short period of time, but France didn't. Napoleon at that time decided to claim the Mexican territory for himself. But Napoleon didn't want Mexico, really. Napoleon was behind something else. To make this long story short, on May 5th, in 1862, 6,000 French soldiers fought against 2,000 Mexican soldiers, and Mexico claimed victory. So remember, don't wear red pants if you are going to war. At that time, the United States was fighting the Civil War, and what Napoleon wanted was to put a military base in Mexico to be able to get an alliance with the Confederate States. Imagine if this had happened. The fact that Mexican people beat the French people, it's a fact that a lot of people should have celebrated at that time. Maybe they did. Otherwise, slavery could have been extended for a long period of time. Who knows other horrible consequences we had had. At that time, the Mexican people who were in the US, when they heard the news, they were celebrating. It's important to remember that there were a lot of people, Mexican people living in the US, because the territory that used to be Mexican territory now was American territory. Actually, I've heard a saying. Some people say, we didn't cross the border crossed us. But that's a story for another video. Hey, do you want to live in Mexico but you're worried about the language? I can understand it. I think I have the solution for you. I've created 6 Spanish conversation courses with lots of materials, vocabulary, exercises, but not only that, you'll also have live classes with me or another native Spanish teacher. This will help you to develop your Spanish conversation skills and start talking in Spanish from the first class. If you don't speak Spanish at all, I have the perfect course for you. If you can speak Spanish, you know the rules, the vocabulary, some vocabulary, but you don't feel confident or you need to develop your fluency, I have courses for you too. Check out my fluency training Chingones courses. I'm sure you'll love them. And you won't be learning only language, you'll be learning culture as well. Check out my courses. I'm going to leave my website here below. But why is this date celebrated in the US and not in Mexico? Let's go back in time in 1933, when the President Roosevelt decided that it was important to have a good relationship with Latin America, and he established the Good Neighbor policy. I won't go deep in this, but some sources say that this was the beginning of the Cinco de Mayo celebrations in the US. Mexican people felt very, very proud because of this date, and they decided to celebrate it as part of their identity. The boom came in the 80s when companies like beer companies decided to commercialize this date. And of course, the rest is history. Now this date is very, very celebrated in the US, whereas in Mexico, no, nothing. We don't do anything.
La batalla de Puebla y la celebran mucha gente en sus casas con comida, sí. Y
¿Pero en
todo.
dónde? En Puebla, en
Sí,
Puebla.
estamos hablando de Puebla, ¿no?
When I was reading to be able to make this video, I read that a lot of people in the US don't really know the meaning, and they confuse Cinco de Mayo for the Mexican Independence Day. Mexican Independence Day is in September, and yeah, we celebrate it a lot. It's a huge day here in Mexico. So Cinco de Mayo is a day that we Mexicans don't celebrate. Actually, the only place that celebrates this day, and actually celebrates is not a correct word, I would use commemorates this day, is in Puebla. They do parades and they remember La Batalla de Puebla, which it's of course very important, but in Mexico we commemorate it, we don't celebrate it. Well, if you go to Cancun, you might see a lot of parties around. Let me know if you're around that area and let me know what's it like over there. And if you're in the US, let me know, how do you celebrate this date? What else do they do in the US? Let me know here in the comments. And see you in the next video. Adiós.
Es maldita.
Maldita.
Es que tiene alcohol. Pruébalo.
Ay, ¿yo por qué? No me quiero poner peda.
Pues para que de una vez hagas los trabajos de un día cada...